Hey, good morning, everybody. At 8:03, this is Richmond's Morning News. Just a reminder, either you wake up first thing with Richmond's Morning News to make sure that you're up to date, you're going to fall behind and be playing catch-up behind everybody else all morning long. Thanks for joining us. Busy morning so far. Talk to Brian Kilmeade and Captain Brett Sadler of the Heritage Foundation, U.S. Navy retired. We'll post both of those on WRVA.com. You can also find them in podcast forms in case you missed it or you want to share that with someone else. They both will be available on Odyssey's app, Odyssey.com. And wherever you subscribe to podcasts, subscribe to Richmond Morning News as well. You can catch all of our great interviews each and every morning here on News Radio WRVA. All right, let's see. I'll remind everybody the air text line is open for you. We'll read your best text messages at 6:55, 7:55, and 8:55 this morning at 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. And a quick reminder, my friends at Puritan Cleaners are in the middle of their 100,000 meal drive for Feed More. Stop by any of their locations throughout Richmond. $5 raffle ticket. The proceeds of that will go to making sure that we get kids fed over the summer that rely on school lunch programs for their one meal a day. You can help out by going by any of the Puritan Cleaners throughout throughout the region and buy a $5 raffle ticket. And if you win, you'll get dry cleaning for a year, courtesy of Puritan Cleaners. All right, with that being said, let's get to Richmond's Morning News brief on this Monday, May the 4th. It is Star Wars Day here and around the world. All right, first story of the day. The Iranians have sent two 15-point peace plans to the president. They've both been rejected. Basically, they said, we want you to leave us alone. We want you to let us continue to do what we do. We want you to leave Hezbollah alone. We want you to stop blocking our ports. We want to be able to control the Strait of Hormuz and charge people tariffs and tributes to go through there. And we'd like you to give us ice cream every day for the rest of our lives. The president said no. And now he's announced a new plan of opening up the Strait of Hormuz using the power of the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Coast Guard. Here's the latest from Fox News. Number one.
President Trump describes Project Freedom as a humanitarian gesture. It begins this morning, an attempt to help some of the 2,000 ships and 20,000 seafarers who have been stranded since the start of Operation Epic Fury. But Iran's military says it will attack U.S. forces if they enter the Strait of Hormuz. More than 100 aircraft and 15,000 service members are supporting Project Freedom. Ships which have been unable to transit the strait are said to be running low on drinking water, food, and other supplies. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
So the Iranians are claiming there's a new maritime procedure regime, whatever they want to call it, which means they get to control the Strait of Hormuz. It's not international water. It's waters that are both owned by Iran and Oman, although the flow of maritime traffic there is guaranteed through maritime law. They're breaking that maritime law. The U.S. is going to start escorting ships through. If they want to challenge the U.S. Navy, that will not end well for them. But again, like we said with Captain Brett Sadler, so many people are claiming the U.S. is losing, the U.S. is losing, the U.S. is losing. I just don't know what reality you live in. And here's the other part. Can I just say this for a moment? For those that are claiming the U.S. is losing because Iran is fired back, because Iran was able to get off some rockets towards our allies or towards our bases, I think you don't have an idea of what kinetic warfare is all about, to be very candid with you, to be very honest with you. In a fight, someone is going to land a punch. I might win the fight, but somebody's going to punch me back. Mike Tyson knocked out a lot of people after he got hit. This is not a video game where just one-sided, where the U.S. is going to go in there and just completely decimate the other side without the other side getting a punch on. They've got a few punches off. They're going to. They're one of the biggest militaries that you have in the world. That's why they've kept the Middle East in an absolute lockdown and a headlock over the last 40-plus years. But the U.S. Navy has sunk all of their boats. They've taken over, have air superiority. They've got a few punches off, but to say that they're winning is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It is beyond the realm of reality. If you want to live in that little fantasy world that you figured out on your PlayStation, your Xbox, go ahead and leave the adults to have the real conversation in the room, will you? All right, story number 2. Spirit Airlines shuts down, leaving crew members and pilots in the aviation world scratching their heads. What's that?
Number 2.
Spirit Airlines just went bankrupt, right? I'm the guy that flew Spirit Airlines for 24 hours straight. There's more than 250 million individuals over the age of 18 in the United States. Now, if we took only 20% of them and paid basically the average fare of a Spirit Airlines flight, which is somewhere around $30 to $40, we could buy Spirit Airlines. This is a genius idea. We nationalize Spirit Airlines, owned by the people. Airlines don't. We make a new airline.
I don't think you understand what. I don't think he understands what nationalizing Spirit Airlines. That would be if the government took over Spirit Airlines. Not a bunch of people bought it. Anyway, Spirit Airlines shuts down their whole operation. You remember during the Biden administration, Merrick Garland's DOJ said no to a merger between Spirit Airlines and JetBlue, saying it'll reduce the amount of jobs and opportunities and fares, and it'll be awful. Said no, we're not going to let these two merge. Instead, now Spirit Airlines is gone, and you still have lost planes, jobs, routes, seats. So maybe you should have let them merge at the time. Spirit Airlines had serious challenges. They would go into smaller regional airports where the margins weren't great. They had budget airlines where they were always constantly having trouble because people would book a cheap flight and then they go, oh yeah, by the way, it's $50 per bag. What? $50 per bag? Yeah, or it's $10 for this or $10 for that. It was a budget airline, and we'll get into all of this coming up here on the program, but the bottom line is one less airline that served Richmond, Virginia. All right, story number 3. I want to recognize that it's been 15 years since Bob O'Neill took out Osama bin Laden. It happened this week, but I did want to recognize it while we were away. This was something that changed the world as the U.S. Navy SEALs went in and took out the leader that brought down the World Trade Center. And I did want to make sure we recognize that. It was over the weekend, but it's been 15 years since Rob O'Neill made that journey with SEAL Team 6 to take out Osama bin Laden.
Number 3.
I had a guy on the team that said, don't get me wrong, I'm going 100% going on the mission, but I have to say this out loud to hear it. If we know we're going to die, why are we going? So we had a conversation, a bunch of us, and what we decided was the best way to put it into perspective is we're not going after bin Laden for fame. We're not going after bin Laden for money. We are going for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a brilliant Tuesday morning. 45 minutes later, she jumped out of a skyscraper because that was a better alternative than 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Decided her last gesture of human decency was to hold her skirt to her knees so that no one could see her underwear as she killed herself. And we said, she wasn't supposed to do that. She's not supposed to be in the fight. We're supposed to be in the fight, and that's what.
15 years ago this week, Rob O'Neill and SEAL Team 6 took out Osama bin Laden. I want to make sure we recognize that. Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor in critical condition, was reported to Fox.
Number 4.
New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani is in the hospital in critical condition but is stable. His representative releasing a statement. It didn't say what happened to the 81-year-old, but asked for prayers for America's mayor. Giuliani served as New York City's mayor from 1994 to 2001. He later became President Trump's personal attorney and advisor.
We'll update you as more news comes on the condition of Rudy Giuliani. And then finally, today, May 4th. Dave, may the 4th be with you.
Number 5.
Oh, Star Wars! Nothing but Star Wars! Give me no Star Wars! Star Wars! If they shoot Star Wars, please let me Star Wars! away.
Yeah, you like that song, don't you, Dave?
How about that?
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's on the extended. It's on the extended Laserdisc.
The director's cut.
Yes, that's right. Bill Murray singing the Star Wars song on Saturday Night Live. Anyway, today is Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Super Dave, we found out, is a huge Star Wars fan.
Yes, I am.
As am I. Gary has, I don't believe, has ever watched one episode of Star Wars.
That's blasphemous.
I know. A little bit later, Dave has a Star Wars quiz for me just to see how much of a fanboy nerd I really am.
We're going to see if you're lying to us or you actually know something, or that you've actually seen the movies.
All right, ask me just a random, not off of our quiz, just ask me a random question. I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, you are put on the spot. 'Cause I was doing some. I actually have some questions here that we're probably not going to get to. So I can go. And this one will probably be pretty easy. What is the bounty hunter that captures Han Solo?
Boba Fett.
Okay. You've actually
was his
seen at
dad's
least
name?
one of them. Jango Fett.
Jango Fett. And what was his special? What made him different than everybody else?
He was a clone. Well, Boba Fett was a clone.
He was an unaltered clone.
Yeah, no.
Boba Fett was an unaltered clone from Jango Fett.
Right.
Are you impressed?
I am now. Yes. You may know all these questions now.
Who are the clones? What planet were the cloners on?
Wow. And that one I don't know. I don't remember. What is it called? I know there were tall with long, skinny necks.
Yeah, I am such a nerd.
Yeah, but you may be a bigger nerd than me.
I'll have that for you a little bit later here on Richmond's Morning News. Anyway, that's your Richmond's Morning News for today. I don't want to keep telling you these things because then you'll really see what kind of nerd fanboy I am. Anyway, we'll have our Star Wars quiz in honor of Star Wars Day coming up here in the next hour. Today's program brought to you in part by Pearson Signature Dealership. What makes Pearson different than everybody else? Simple. They want you to be a customer for life, but they put their money where their mouth is. A lot of people go, hey, listen, we're going to take care of you the